Day in and day out, I try to come up with topics to talk about here on the Happy English podcast. Most of my ideas come from questions or problems my students have. At the end of the day, it's always best to keep trying new things. In this day and age, I think most people are interested in learning something. That's as plain as day, no?
Welcome to another Happy English podcast coming to you from New York City. And here's your English teacher, Michael.
All right, thank you, John, and thanks, everyone. It's Michael here from Happy English, and I help people speak English better. And this is Happy English Podcast, episode 713, Day-to-Day English. This past weekend in the USA, we changed the clocks back to daylight savings time. In other words, when it was 1 o'clock in the morning, it suddenly became 2 o'clock in the morning. It's an old tradition from the last century, started, I believe, to save energy. We change the clocks here twice a year, and quite frankly, I personally find it annoying. But every cloud has a silver lining, and changing the clocks gave me the idea for this lesson. Today, let's take a look at 10 idioms and expressions that relate to time and day.
Now listen to the conversation. Try to focus on the idioms and expressions in this lesson. You know, Jen, day in and day out, I get on that train and come to this office. For what?
You're not thinking about calling it a day, are you?
It's as plain as day, no? I'm so tired of this job. One of these days, I'm going to do what I really want to do.
You know, in this day and age, more and more people are giving up the corporate life to pursue doing what they love to do.
You know, I've always wanted to be a stand-up comic. They say every dog has their day. Maybe it's my turn now.
Doing that would be like night and day for you. You're a funny guy. You should go for it.
Thanks, Jen. Your support really made my day.
Back in the day, most people worked in the same company their whole life. These days are different.
Yep. At the end of the day, you have to do what makes you happy.
You can say that again.
Let's have a look at this vocabulary. Jack said that day in and day out, he gets on the train and goes to the office. When something happens day in and day out, it happens the same way every day without fail. Here are some examples. Sam works out at the gym day in and day out to stay fit. Day in and day out, during his commute to work, Alex listens to his favorite podcast. I wonder which one is his favorite. Emily studies her English lessons day in and day out. It's no wonder her language skills are improving. Then, Jen asked Jack if he was thinking about calling it a day. We use call it a day in two ways. The first one is to stop what you're doing, and the second one is to finish your work for the day. For example, we've been working hard since lunchtime. Let's call it a day and finish up tomorrow. After several hours of studying in the library, Ken called it a day and went home. Turning 50 had such an impact on Donnie that he decided to call it a day and retire early. Next, when something is plain as day or clear as day, that thing is very obvious or easy to understand. Here are some examples. Jack's frustration with working in the office was becoming plain as day to his coworker Jenny. When you hear Alice play the guitar, it's clear as day that she's talented. David's excitement about seeing a musical tomorrow is plain as day in his voice. Later in the conversation, Jack said that one of these days he's going to do what he really wants to do. One of these days means some unspecified time in the near future, like someday. For example, Rachel hopes to travel to Europe one of these days when she saves enough money. Kevin plans to learn how to cook one of these days so he can impress his new girlfriend. Olivia wants to adopt a dog one of these days when she finds the right one. Then, Jen said that in this day and age, a lot of people are giving up their office job and doing what they love to do. We use the phrase, in this day and age, when we talk about what often happens these days in the society. Here are some examples. In this day and age, it's really important to stay updated with changes in technology. Lauren thinks that in this day and age, you need to consider your work-life balance. In this day and age, more and more people are leaving TV networks and getting their entertainment from streaming services. Every dog has their day. I'm not sure why we mention dogs in this idiom, but it means that every one of us will have success or good luck at some point in their life. For example, Jessica encouraged her friend to keep trying to find a new boyfriend because, well, every dog has their day. Whenever Ryan is facing challenges in his career, he reminds himself that every dog has their day. Emma believes that even during tough times, every dog has their day, so she stays hopeful. When something or someone makes your day, it makes you really happy or satisfied. Here are some examples. Nicole's friend is planning to surprise her with a gift, which would totally make her day. Jason's mom made his day when she cooked lasagna, which is his favorite meal. Thanks for your encouragement. It really made my day. Next, Jen said that back in the day, most people worked in the same company their whole life. Back in the day means at some point in the past, usually when someone was younger. For example, at the party last night, Kevin was talking about playing baseball with his friends back in the day. Now, all of our information is programmed into our phones. But back in the day, we just memorized everyone's phone numbers. Grandpa was talking about his adventures back in the day when he worked on a ship. The last one is at the end of the day. At the end of the day means when you consider everything in a situation. Here are some examples. Jack said that at the end of the day, you have to do what makes you happy. Rachel knows that at the end of the day, her family's support is what matters most. Jessica believes that at the end of the day, honesty is the best policy. So she decided to tell her boyfriend she was moving out. Keep in mind, the best way to remember this and any other word or phrase in English is to take that word or phrase, write it in a sentence that's true for you or true in your world, and then memorize your sentences. By the way, can you imagine getting the chance to practice this kind of English with me directly? You can get more practice using your English when you join my Podcast Learners Study Group. There, you can make new friends, join us for live group coaching every week where we practice these podcast lessons together. Plus, you get access to the PDF transcript and audio download for every Happy English podcast in the past and in the future. And on top of that, each episode has exercises where you can practice this English point with speaking and writing checked by me. Yeah. To learn more or to see some of the example sentences from this lesson, just visit myhappyenglish.com and choose Podcast Lesson 713. Remember, learning another language is not easy, but it's not impossible, and I'm here to help you on your journey.
This podcast is brought to you by Happy English. Please visit myhappyenglish.com. Show your support for Happy English by leaving us a review. Get English, get happy, Happy English.